we've received some more details about Roadcraft, as the devs did a Q&A session in the Discord this week, so let me take you through everything new that we know about it. And some of this info I'm going to paraphrase, some of it I'm going to direct quote. Regardless, there are roughly more than 80 things here that we now know or are a bit more confirmed and have a better idea about. To start off with, they were asked about off-roading and its off-roading capabilities. And their response was basically, this is a construction sandbox, a simcade, that has off-road elements in it, but it's not intended as an off-roading first game. It is a construction sim first, or simcade as they like to phrase it. They were also asked about excavators, which aren't coming. Due to the terrain tech constraints, they can only dig some of the ground. They said roughly 3 to 4 meters, so technically they could add them, but they wouldn't have much to do. And if they do say yes, you can have an excavator, no, it cannot dig the terrain, there will be a bit of a backlash, so they'll look into it and see if it can be used to, say, fill dump trucks, which was also sort of suggested to them too. In relation to terrain, you can dig anywhere, excluding water, large concrete structures, and other natural blockers. It's just not that far. Possibility of going further, they'll see how it goes. For vehicle modding, they've said it's sort of been official for some time and they're working on a solution for modding vehicles, but they have no answers regarding vehicle modding at the moment. It's deep in the works. As soon as it's ready to be shown in beta, they'll most likely open it up to modders to mess around and put their requests so they come up with something that fits the modders' needs. In relation to trucks and winches, other trucks will have winches, but not all of them. They couldn't answer about licensed vehicles, more of a they didn't know, more of a publishing team question. You can't load dump trucks yourselves, but they'll look into it, and they're also going to be working on securing vehicles to transport vehicles, because if you've tried it out in the demo, you can load vehicles on those transport vehicles, but you can't actually secure them like you can in SnowRunner. They'll just fall off as soon as gravity decides. And going back to filling sand up, basically hand loading, they're going to be looking into the possibility that might also relate back to the excavators. So we're going to see about that. They were also asked about content plans. They said they're not disclosing their plans for live right now. However, they have a lot of different options in mind, all depend on how it performs. And that was sort of their answer towards, is there going to be a snow region too as well? So basically, we will see. They talked about the map editor. It's in active testing right now, and theoretically you'll be able to build anything that they can build in-house in terms of level design, but there's no dates confirmed, but you should be able to do it very soon. And someone specifically asked about, can you make a proper big real quarry? And they said the technical ability is there and is present to do so. So that's a yes. They mentioned about the mod launcher will be in there in some shape or form. It's a bit different to SnowRunner due to the different mod platform, but it's going to be in there. As for functional mirrors in the game, they were deactivated for the demo for optimization reasons. For weather controls or time of day controls, they're not in the game at the moment, but they said it's a good idea and they'll think of doing something with it. There's no plans with the demo on consoles at the moment. They are fully focused on the upcoming release in May. As for the performance, they're doing their best to give you the best experience and prioritizing FPS as much as possible. The demo is slightly outdated / the game by 4 months, which is normal for a demo usually, and the full-scale work on performance started after the demo version was created. They were asked about support in relation to how much support the game is going to get, and they said as long as there are people enjoying the game, there will be support. As you may have already seen on our other projects, we understand that live support is important and we do not intend to change this. They've said right now the fleet is persistent in the world, and that's all they're going to say right now. They are going to be working on a PS5 Pro version as well. Crossplay between console and PC is confirmed, and they were also asked about, with the creation of Roadcraft, does this affect SnowRunner in any way? What they said was SnowRunner is supported and driven by a different team and does not affect the life cycle, so support for it won't end, which does actually explain why there's so many differences between SnowRunner and this one, maybe missing features and all that kind of thing. It is a completely separate team. They mentioned that hard mode is confirmed with fuel management and damage post-launch. When post-launch, we have no idea. They clarified about a few things about bridges. You can only delete bridges that you've built, so if there's only predetermined or pre-placed ones by the devs, you can't get rid of those. And they're working on a fix when you place bridges. Huge holes sometimes appear that you can't fill with sand, and you always get bad bumps there. They've also taken note of an activate for the steamroller, so it may be added in the future, as at the moment it's just constantly running. And their response to the demo versus final release was this: There are a lot. As an example, there are no things connected to progression in the demo, where you can buy and sell vehicles and expand your fleet. Demo was all about short minute-to-minute gameplay. We could not come up with a solution to put all mechanics in it, unfortunately. They were also asked about for sand to change to gravel for realism question when building roads, and I'll quote them here. They said, there is even a story in here. We've played with gravel a little bit in the prototype stage of the game. Maybe we'll show pictures somewhere in the dev blog, for example. And there was that problem called a player can make a pie of very different things of sand, asphalt and gravel, and I think we had something else even. And we couldn't make it look good at all. It was always a hot mess of different layers of the pie. So yeah, gravel is more realistic, but for historical reasons there is sand now. We will definitely look into it in the future. They said there's going to be an option to save or not save your co-op progress for all players. So if you save, the state of that map you played will be remembered and you will not need to go through all the quests again. If the map is further down the progression and not yet available to you, you will get all the progress when you reach it by yourself. They're asked about picking up sand. You can move it around with the dozer. If you pour it, it stays there, but you can work around it to a degree. So it's a bit of a no, you can't really pick up sand right now. Their response to some wheels not working with the game, they've said all the wheels are in active debugging right now, and there are a couple of big issues with them, but they should be sorted by release. Our hardware support team does everything it can at the moment. They were also asked about transport vehicles controlled by bots and used for specific tasks, as in Mission 2 of the demo version, or can players decide for themselves how resources will be transported? And the response was this. So those automated drivers are used in an objective-dependent way, yes. We were again playing a lot with providing the player the ability to do more things with them, but the UI became more and more crumbled with the info on those automated trucks. Ultimately, we're not a tactical strategy about trucks. Logic was applied and they were made objective-dependent. However, we still feel there's an additional potential in them, and this may change in the future, but yeah, no exact plans right now. And someone also asks the age-old question of, is Roadcraft in the same universe as SnowRunner, etc.? And this is what they said. They share some things, but let's put it this way. Our vehicle brands, for example, you will still be able to see Khan and Azov. You can transport cargo yourself. You can opt to use automated vehicles in most scenarios if you want to. Quarry zones won't be the same size as launch as in the demo. For the demo, they were specially customized some of the radiuses, and they also reminded us that don't forget the full maps will be a lot bigger than what we got from the demo. As for nighttime, it was in the plans, but they stumbled into a technical problem which they had to work around. Basically, they could make it work, but it would not run the game on consoles if they did. So for the moment, nighttime is out of the current scope, but they'll see how it goes. They're asked about some sounds. They said sounds should be fixed by launch. It still has a lot of bugs, and they will also look into sharp turning vehicles where it hasn't got realistic behavior. They said it might be a current track system side problem, but they'll see what they can do in that. They said you can break some objects, not all, as obviously we're trying to build things in this game, not break things. And you can put marks on the map. They are not waypoint markers, but the current marker system will be reviewed and a newer waypoint system may very well appear, but not right now. So there was an interesting question about fuel and all-wheel drive. So this is sort of the short rundown of the fuel story. So I'll quote them here. And they said, fuel was in the game, hence the all-wheel drive diff lock thingies. Then we played with it. Most of the design department felt it was meh and added a lot of fuss to the process. At the moment, we couldn't come up with a solution to lessen the fuss and still have fun with the system. I guess seeing the reaction to the absence of the fuel system has already provided some motivation to make it work in some shape or form. So yeah, we're actively thinking of making it available to people who actually enjoy it. They were also asked about the mod in Roadcraft in comparison to the likes of SnowRunner, and they said the mod in Roadcraft is less of a danger as opposed to SnowRunner. It still has it to a degree, it still provides some level of challenge, and you can still, in quotation marks here, die in there if you're not cautious. However, it's not like the mod gives you an aimer level challenge. And for those that don't get what that means, aimer is probably one of the most difficult and challenging and grindy maps over in SnowRunner. They also said there's going to be a lot of gas stations in the game right now, and that's probably down to them doing all those fuel testings and they've just not taken them out. But because they're present, and they're still in, and they've said they're open to doing a fuel system in the future, I think they're there to stay and maybe become a function in the future. They also said about they will see what can do about adding older construction vehicles. I think somebody mentioned about adding them from the 70s or 80s construction vehicles, but they'll see what can be done about that. They also asked about working in the new engine. So again, I'll quote them here. The potential of the new engine is enormous. I think you can see that based on our awesome sound and visuals that you could also see its potential in that other game that was not released not so long ago, Space Marine 2. We still have a lot of work to do, and the really cool stuff can be achieved with a lot of work and pain, but I'm sure our engine devs can handle it and will be able to fulfill our and your quests from the engine. They were asked about hosted servers, and they said it's just going to be peer-to-peer networking. Hosted servers are out of scope at the moment. And they were even asked about wildlife in the game, and they said there's no fish in bodies of water, however there are bees, dragonflies and flies that you may be able to see around the world. And alternative crane control scheme is in the works right now, and they went back to bridges again and said when you build a bridge you can't put sand against it or on map rocks, so technically you can place sand only on terrain, and the explanation basically is the sand you pour is from the very beginning of a part of terrain itself, which does not include any geometry like bridges, buildings, etc., so it may evolve but not right now. There are no plans for text chat, although voice chat is already confirmed and is even in the demo as well. And they said there's no avatar customization, but they did say, and I quote, let's see what the future holds. A little bit of a tease there. They were also asked about the public test servers, whether it'll have any, because obviously Expeditions and SnowRunner both have that, and they said that they didn't think of opening them, and again I'll quote them again here, we'll see I guess, if there's a place for it, then why not. For maps and activities, it's very different from SnowRunner, but the principle is close enough, and they expanded on the different objectives here because they were asked about what sort of different activities can you do. Is there a sort of range? Is there things like tree planting and other sort of activities that you can do? And they said there is a lot of different objectives in the game right now. I'm not even sure what the number is, but it totally has 2 zeros in it and may have 3. But we'll definitely be adding more objectives and objective types during live support. And for building roads, it's only sand, wood, asphalt at the moment, and after that it's that line about future holding different things that we do not yet see. And if the community feels like farming or mining, we'll see what they can do, because of course they were asked about if farming is going to be introduced or mining. Resources were also asked about. They are all finite to a degree, so you can run out, but you'll have to try very hard. And right now detachable trailers are not in the game, but maybe later they can come up with something. They were also asked about road markings and road lines, and they said it was one of the requested features for the future. We have a function deep somewhere called road beautification, but that's all I'll say at the moment. Again, a bit of a tease. You will be able to flatten random scattered piles of sand at the ground, and they'll come up with something for sand accidentally going on asphalt, and there should be dirt trails from the dirt vehicle right now onto asphalt as well. But they'll look into something like a street sweeper vehicle or something for this type of thing to sweep and clean the dirt off, or for sand accidentally going on asphalt, they'll try and work something out for that. For NPC auto resource gathering, they will not gather resources around the map for you, but they will transport them so you get values out of them in the autonomous mode. And they have confirmed there will be multiple save slots just like SnowRunner and Expeditions, and they will consider having concrete a usable material, things like laying, hauling and storing. And they've also said more to build than roads and bridges, but they left it like that, so it's anyone's guess. And they also confirmed the game will have a total of 44 achievements. And that is it. That is all the details we found about Roadcraft during the Q&A session on Wednesday this week at the time this video is going out. I would like to know what you're thinking about all this. Does this clarify a lot of things? Are you happy with this? Are you not? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful and informative, and like to see more content like this, well, make sure you are subscribed. I will continue to cover the latest news and updates on simulation and racing titles. So if that interests you, stick around and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.